Hello, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minutes News and Updates, an Access Consciousness Quickie. My name is Cassy Summers. I'm your host this week, and I'm here with Akeisha Baat, this wonderful BF that we have. She did used to live in BC, which is where I live, but she has actually moved, created a whole new life in Puerto Vallarta. And she's doing something really cool that we thought that you guys might want to hear about it. Can you tell us about these pop-ups and what you've been creating?
Yes, thank you, Cassie. It's so good to be here. Hi, everybody. Yes, like I said, I moved my life to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, full time there. Very excited. And it's been quite the creation. And one of those creations is doing pop-up bar sessions at a cafe. I really love this one cafe. It's owned by a lady from Jalisco, which is the state that Puerto Vallarta is in, and her husband, who's American. They have this beautiful cafe. It's kind of trendy, but it's also centered in community. They host like movie nights and they mix and mingle different cafes together for events. They have artwork. And I was like, can I set up like an anti-gravity chair and run bars? He was like, what? And I was like, gave him like the quick lowdown, like very simple. It's like gentle touch on the head. People just lay back and relax and receive and reduce stress, delete thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And he was like, yeah, sure. So because I
Wow.
don't charge anything for these little mini pop-ups, which is one way I just put my services out there for that like trial, but it's 1 day a week. It's only for 2 hours, and there's a little spot in front of their cafe that I set up, and if it's too hot, we just go like there's a spot in the back that doesn't have a lot of traffic, and put up my anti-gravity chair up. I have a little sign that goes up by the cash register. I put little tiny like cars that are like 4 by 4, and they've just got my information, a little bit of bars information on the back, and they can just come and get 15 minutes, a little quickie as we call them.
Uh-huh.
And I've had 3 clients from just doing those weekly for 3 weeks. So like
Wow.
what else is possible? And some days I have nobody, and some days I have 4 people show up and they receive. And it's growing. I'm becoming a familiar face on these in the cafe. People are like, "Oh, you're here again." I'm like, "I'm here again."
That is so amazing. What did you so that conversation you had with him, did it seem pretty easy? Like you didn't have to really like sell it?
No, and that's one thing I've been learning. I've been going to that cafe for like 9 months.
Mm,
I've been popping in, I've talked to the owner, I've gotten a sense of where I could put up a chair, and this is something that kind of like you never know how it's going to go, because you can walk into any business and they'll be like, yeah, sure, totally. Or you'll walk into a business and be like, no. Or or you can build a rapport with somebody and you can take a longer time asking. And sometimes you want to get in there because you want to generate things. And other times it's this nice, easy, you know what, I'm just going to wait for the right time to pop up. And so working with this cafe, it was the latter. It was like, I feel like I could do something here, but I want to wait for the right time. And you can say that for like everything. So it's like situational based. There's no right answer. But I cultivated a relationship with the owner and the space for 9 months. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this. If anything happens, great. If nothing happens, cool. And I offered him a little freebie. And he was like, whoa, like, what was that?
yeah.
And so he's now like more inclined. I was like, I'd like to come back when I come back in October, because I'm traveling for the summer. If I'd like to set up a class here, like you're closed Sundays. What would it look like if we were to hold a class? He's like, I think that would be really cool. And then he tells me, we're actually going to be opening on Sundays. So, but I still really like this. We're going to have to think about how it's going to work. So maybe it's split between like 2 evenings,
Right.
little things like that.
That is so cool. And I love that you took the time to create that connection with him and because yeah, how often do we want to run into something like, and we like almost fire hose people with information and possibility, like you should do this and let me do this. But to really be like, okay, what's gonna work here? What's gonna work in this place with this? So when you kind of like saw that cafe
without having to be like to pay more to energetically put things out which isn't being received, or I could like literally be reading my book. If no one comes over, at least it's 2 hours to myself, and I can just like no significance on it. I'm doing this to share, and it was a practice in that. It was a practice for me because I know people are like, oh, I can do tasters, and then my whole week is scattered with these free sessions, which doesn't honor me in my life. So I was like, okay, I can do this. This is aligned with me. 2 hours out of my week, anybody can come. I tell my group of friends, because they're always curious about it, I'm like, come to my pop-up. That's when I do sessions and you don't have to pay me. You can get a sense of what it is. And if you're curious for more, then we can talk about it. So it's kind of like honoring that space for myself. It's a practice in no significance. It's a practice in sharing and not having a point of view if someone receives it or not. And really being like, it's so exciting when someone was like, what did you just do to me?
Yeah.
And where do I find you again? And then I go, then give the information. Then the conversation's open. Otherwise, it's just like, do you want to receive? Do you want to lay down? Hey, people, you've been working for an hour. Do you want to take 15 minutes for like a brain break?
Yeah.
And some people are like, ooh, some people are like, yeah. And then other people are like, I can see. They're like, if you're still here in like 2 months, then maybe I'll try.
Yes. Yeah.
And no significance on any of that. No judgments. Just, I'm here if you want it.
So do you always keep to the same time so that they can really get used to, or is that kind of fluid for you?
It was meant to be fluid. It just so happened that Wednesdays from 6 to 8 worked out. It was like a good time for the cafe. There's like lots of traffic, and it was a good time in my schedule. So, but it started off as just give the cafe owner a day's heads up, like literally the night before, being like, I'm going to come in. And he's like, okay. He's also a magical human being that's very open and loves community. So, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. We have someone in the third asking, how many points do you run in these 15 minutes?
I do 3. So I do quick energy pulls, 5 minutes on implant, and then, or 5-7 on implant, especially if they're talking at the beginning. And then I'll do the control, awareness, hopes and dreams, form and structure, and bridging bar. And then I'll usually do timer space or gratitude, peace, and calm. Time and space I have found to be, people would really settle into their bodies when I hit the time and space one. They're like, because it's like the temples, and everyone knows to like rub the temples when you're stressed out. So as soon as I touch that, they're like, oh, they melt. And then a quick save. And I'm usually sitting on them for, 3 to 5 minutes. And if they're talking about something, I'll just do a little 2-minute on maybe that subject, whether it's oh, I'm having troubles communicating, or, oh, I'm having troubles with my body. I'll go to those points, but I won't. It's kind of flowy. I don't make it this big thing. I don't try and hit all the points in 15 minutes.
Right.
I just am there. I let them settle in, and quick save at the end.
Cool. And you do the closing?
Yep. Yeah. The whole like ending, I'd call it, like the save, pull, and open up manifestation for a hot second.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. And another option, just to throw it out there for anyone, I've done the 20-minute, not 15, and I've done just implant band. Even that can so yeah, you can really play with it, I think. And I love that you're following the energy and like tapping into what can they receive right now, what's going to create the most for them. That's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Yeah. So then you have your kind of cards there and you kind of leave it open for them to take something if they want to, or do you
Mm-hmm.
offer, or you like, here's my card if you want more?
That's been evolving, which also I think is great because you can go in with so much expectation and projection and you're like, be prepared with everything and you can spend a lot of money. And I was like, I'm not energetically going to output this much if it's not going to be received. So I'm going to take it step by step. So it was like a flyer. Then it was like, hey, can I put things on the table? Okay, great. Go print out some of those. And then it's like, oh, people are like curious. I do have business cards and I give them them. But now it's like a handout now I have. Okay, we'll take this home. Oh, you're busy right now. You're jetting off to your house. Here's a little printout, like 5x7, and my information's at the bottom. Now I bring books and I've got a collection of books that I can be reading, or if someone's waiting, they can I'm like peruse through a book, or it's just like a visual representation of access as a bit bigger than this. Now I'm going to print out something a little bit bigger. So I've got at the till and I've got at my station something a little bit larger that shows the brain, the points on the
chart.
head,
Yeah.
the chart. So I'm going to have that as a visual. So when people are walking by, it's like that can catch their eye, but this is all evolving and you can do it all at once, or you can do it in steps and see what's actually going to work for you to print out and for you to spend your money on and for you to spend your time on. Because all these little things take your energy. And I was very clear with myself, don't make it significant and don't offer without it being asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? Is that someone asking directly, or is that like the space? And because I also didn't know how the space was going to receive me. So it works in this little corner. Okay, well, what actually fits in this corner? There's not a lot of space. It's very small.
Right.
So I didn't want to come in with like a bunch of stuff and be like, oh, none of it works.
Yeah.
So, and then
So
you're just building your toolbox.
Yeah. And I feel like you're being that 10-second increment.
Yes.
Okay, what now? What now? What now? I'm being in that question. This is so beautiful. We already went over the 10, but you are a brilliant creator.
Thank you.
And so inspiring. Thanks for coming on here and sharing some of the ways you're getting access out and playing with these tools and how it's growing your business. It's amazing. Thank you everyone for watching. We're so grateful. And you guys will see Emily and Megan here next week. So thanks again for being on.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.